Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Modern Marriage. Today we're going to talk about the C part. We're talking about the Christianity. The other day we're talking about the prayer, and today we're going to talk about the second part, which is the fasting. Christian women are usually the one that's closer to God. They are usually the one that's spiritual. And like I said, you gotta pray earlier or like I said in my previous video, you gotta pray for your husband, you gotta bless them. It's not all the prayers are effective. You gotta pray from your heart and you're making it sincerely. Now we're gonna do the second part, which is the fasting. The fasting is a lifestyle. For example, everyone, if you're Christian, should be able to fast. If you have a strictly disease or you're not able to, but you're supposed to fast anyway, because that's one way that you get closer to God. And then the more close one to God, you gotta fast. But there's different way to fast. The fast can be, for example, fast of water. You don't drink water for a period of time. Fast of food. You can mean like you don't eat such special food like fast food. It can be meat. It can be fast sweet things. It can be juice. It can be sugar. It can be ice cream. And there's a fasting that is always require some kind of sacrifices. But once a relationship and a marriage, the fast, you can do it privately or you can do it as your partner. If you do it privately, you can do it, for example, by yourself. If at work, for example, you're working that day you choose not to drink any sweet or you choose not to eat. I remember when I was younger, when I went to work and the fast food restaurant, I chose to do 1 day fast without eating. That was terrible. That was a good experience, but it was worth it, because what happened is while I was working, the food came in my nose every time, the fast food. And then now it has me built up that confidence that the food doesn't control me, and which is a good sign, because now I can conquer food and the food cannot conquer me. So that's the beauty about the fasting. You cannot deny your fleshy desire and to be going to the spiritual desire. So that's the whole point of the fasting. And also when you fast for personal, you don't have to tell everybody. Make a schedule for most people don't know. You can fast probably on 12-hour fasting. Some people use intermediate fasting to lose weight, which is a kind of fasting. But the fasting of religious belief is that you're fasting not to lose weight, you're fasting to seek the presence of God in your family and yourself, and then has a behavior, and then you don't do it for 3 months, 6 months, but you do it as a lifestyle. And then the fasting that you do, usually you become more stable mentally. You become more rationalized, because now your flesh is under control, your thought and your mind is under control, and your behavior is most likely human, most likely common, not dreaming, but you become more realistic. And the other part is that when you're fasting with by yourself, is that you cannot always have your face turn out like you sad, you don't have no energy. It's always good to smile. Don't change your behavior. Do what you gotta do. You can cook for the family, clean up the house. You don't have to be isolated in the corner, but you gotta keep doing what you gotta do. But you choose that time not to do like your regular day, your regular hours, like to eat things, that to do other activities. But you try to see the face of God. You can always singing, for example, always singing. If you don't sing, you can always mourning the song in your heart and your mouth. And then also you get to also the different distraction. You can stay away from distraction, for example, from the internet, from phone, from TV, from the media. That's another way of fasting for yourself. So you're trying to isolate yourself and then separate yourself from the world, so you can be closer to your creator, which is God. And there's a fasting, that's the part that's with your family, which is the beauty of it, because not only you, but you and other person, which is your husband, I never recommend it like for your fiance or your boyfriend and girlfriend talk about relationship. You can do that as a boyfriend, girlfriend, or fiance. But me and my channel talk about marriage, which is your husband and wife. When you do that as a husband and wife, there's a beauty to it because now you each can look at each other. You both learn about the weaknesses, and then if somebody is not strong enough, you can motivate that person. You can tell them no. You can guide them. You can stop them from making the mistake, and then you guys are bonded together because now you see the flaws of each other. You can see support each other. You can love on a more deep level. That's one of the reason a lot of couple don't make it because they don't fast together. They don't seek God together. They rather have spent time, like for example, go on a trip, for example, go to travel, for example, go to party. I don't say they're not good, but I think it's sometime you got in the season, you gotta go and fast and look for God, especially. And right now, you don't know what's going to happen. You should do at least one fasting a week, at least one day a week. It can be for 4 hours, 8 hours, 16 hours, 24 hours, but at least you do one fasting every week at least. And then when you do that with your husband and wife, you see that, for example, you guys grow together, and there's a lot of bad behavior that the person have. God gonna correct it. God gonna make you more tolerable. God gonna make you love each other. God, and then you're gonna have a stronger bond. Even people outside will see how different you look. For example, if you used to call on the phone, you're supposed to scream and you're supposed to yell because you're fasting with your husband, if your wife. You guys are not screaming and you're not yelling, and then your behavior change and it's more quiet, it's more peaceful in the house, and then God can always dwell inside the house. That's the beauty of that, of the fasting together. And the Christian people usually they fast, for example, as a tool to whip their husband or to control the relationship. For example, the wife usually fast to not give the need of the husband, because what happens is that person, you know that person don't want your attention. They want your body, they want to have bed with phone, but you choose to fast during the time you know he's available for you to control that, for him not to have it. But now if he or she goes out there and they find another way to have it, even those in church, they're Christian, and now you're saying that you want out because he's unfaithful, is not a real Christian. Remember, fasting in your relationship has to be together if you really want to grow together. But if you want to do it alone, do not do it on your schedule. Do not interfere with the other person's schedule, because once you do that, it's gonna be a crucial point between your relationship, because the devil can come in and divide it and use it as a weapon. That's why it's most likely to tell your other person that you're fasting today, so they don't have to bring some food or something like that to break up your fasting. And also, do not use your fasting in the way to stay away from the relation, to not talk to your other significant, to your husband and wife, for you to not go to their need to cook or clean or to wash the dishes or clean the house. This is a pure laziness, and God's not gonna honor that fasting, because you're doing it for selfishness, for looking for honor and a praise, but you don't look at it for a way to submit yourself, to surrender yourself, and to not deny yourself. This is the part that a lot of Christians have issues with, because now you see in relationship, people only go to church to get the ring blessed, to have the blessing, and next thing you know, they forget about all the way from church. They only go to church to preach a sermon, to serve a sermon, and to go to a home, and they have everything like as normal, and then they forget about they have to fast. Even though they offer fasting in church, they don't participate. If they participate, they come at the end, and next thing they complain and they become bitter, and some people fall asleep, which is kind of disaster, because now you lying to yourself, and then you put yourself in trouble, because fasting is supposed to be a mental state that you put yourself to be able to control your behavior. That's why most people don't use fast. They go to meditation, they meditate, and then when they meditate, this is where to control their behavior. That's why a lot of people don't go to church to fast. They don't fast, but they go to yoga and to other activity, so they control their behavior. But the good way to prosper in a relationship, anything you do, you got to fast and seek for the presence of God, especially with your partner. And as a Christian, a woman in a marriage, especially the fasting is more beneficial for the woman than the man, because the man can always control their tongue, but the woman cannot. And also it's beneficial for the man than the woman, because now if you're fasting, you can control the desire of your eyes, because men love beautiful things. And then when the lady out the street and then they show their skin, and then now your temptation come along, you're not gonna fall, because now you got a stronger bond to the higher power, which is gonna protect you, which is gonna guide you, which is gonna save you from those ladies that set up a trap for you to destroy your relationship. And again, this was my video from the C part. The third part is fasting. Fasting is you gotta know how to fast, when to fast, and then fast together or fast by yourself. You gotta do both at least once a week, or one at least once a week. And then always fast for your husband, fast with your husband and wife, and you can fast for your kids and with your kids, and then bless one another, love one another. And I shout out for the C, a woman, which is a Christian woman. A is an appealing woman, and then R is a realistic woman, because those are the part that's missing in the relationship right now. Everything else is come underneath, but the C Christian part is mandatory, the appealing part is mandatory, and the realistic is mandatory. Those three parts, that's the one that's the foundation of any relationship. Is one of them is missing, the two in jeopardy, is two of them is missing, yourself already for divorce. And one there is one, and more likely that is gonna be none. When all three are damaged, divorce already happening, and one the other person already out of the relationship. And guys, give me a like, share it, that's something that's new, smash the like button, I appreciate it, subscribe, and to